Okay, so what we're going to do is create a folder on my local machine, my Mac machine in this case, or if you're using Windows, on your Windows machine. Create a folder there and share that, mount that, if you like, into your running container, so that inside your container it looks like a local folder, but any changes you make to that are actually persisted out to the to your folder on your Windows box, or in my case on my Mac box. And then when we run another instance of a container and mount that local folder, those changes are still visible. Yeah. So Docker, like I mentioned before, Docker refers to this as a volume. So the first thing we need to do is create that local directory that's going to be our shared volume. Yeah. So let me think of demos, Docker. I think that's the directory I was in. Yeah. So let me create a folder called, I don't know, local volume. Let's call it that. Okay. And if we want to, we can go in and create some files in there. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just create a, let's just echo, this is on Mac, into a file called file1. You can see I'm running out of ideas for what to call these things. So there's my local volume, yeah, and I want to mount that into my running container, yeah. So let's go back to our command for our less basic example. Yep. So here's our Docker container run command that we used before. Docker container run -it to give us an interactive session. The name of the image, this less basic example image that we created, and we want to run up a bash shell as the command. That command actually there, where I've got bin bash, could be something else. Could be the name of an executable that you want to run. Yeah, whatever. In this case, I'm running a bash shell. But this won't have, the command as it stands, it doesn't know anything about my local volume. So I need to go back and put in an extra, some extra commands to the run command, or some extra parameters, I should say, to my run command. Yeah, and to mount a volume, I say -v. Yeah. Now, basically, I have to map my local volume, the folder on my Mac machine, or you on your Windows machine, let's say. I have to map that to what it's going to be called inside the container. Yep. So the first one is the host version, and then the host name, if you like, or the host path, and then the second part is the container path. Yeah. So on my host, this folder is called documents, Docker, demos, Docker, local volume. Yeah, that's what I created. If we have a look further up, where was it? Yeah, I created a local volume. Yep. So that's what it's known as that's the path to it, if you like, on my host machine, on my Mac or your Windows machine. We then need to say where to map it to inside the container. Inside the container, it was called something like, I think, root test, and then the name I want it to see as is common. Yep. So when we're inside the container, we should be able to go to root test common, and then when we look at that, we should see the contents of this local volume on my Mac machine. Yeah. And any changes we make in there should persist out to my Mac, and they'll be then available the next time we run a container with this command. Okay, so we've got our container. If we cd to my home directory and have a look, there's my test folder. And if we now have a look, there's bar and test2 that we created in our Docker file, but now we've now got a common folder. And if we have a look at what's in the common folder, we can see file 1, yeah, which was the file we created out here. Yeah? So it should have inside it, this is on Mac. Yeah? So if we cat that, what was it? Common file 1, we should see this is on Mac. And in fact, if we create another file in there called echo changes from inside container, call it file 2. Okay, we should be able to see that. File 2, awesome. I won't exit the container yet, but if we jump out just to my local machine and have a look, there's my local volume. If we have a look, file 2 is already there, yeah. And in fact, even if we exit out of our container, yeah, so it's no longer running, we can still see file 2 there. Let's have a look at what the contents is. Oops, sorry, not files 2. Yeah. Now let's go and create another instance of the container. Yeah, and this is before where we would have seen those changes that we'd made inside the container. They were transient before, they were not saved, but in this case, because we made them inside a shared volume, we should still be able to see them. They've been shared between container instances. So if we go into test, common should still be there, and if we have a look, file 2 still's there as well. Yeah, awesome. So now, using volumes, we can have changes that persist between containers. They don't have to be changes that were introduced in our in our Docker file. They can actually be changes created during the runtime of the container, and then even if we shut down that container and start it up again, those changes have persisted. Yeah, awesome.